again. Welcome to another interview about the Jecks Templar series. This time I'm talking about the Mad Monk of Gidleigh. Nice little book, number 14 in the series. Infinitely more subtle than the book cover to The Devil's Acolyte, that rather loud red one, the original format. This book is from Headline, not Simon & Schuster. I wrote it many years ago, at a time when I was trying to investigate more stories that were based on actual recorded history. So if you look on the internet and you want to find out a bit more about the correct source for this book, if you look up the Mad Monk of Haldon Hill in Exeter, you'll find the basics of this story are all there. The Mad Monk was a bit of a sad character, really. He was in an age when Dartmoor was considered to be pretty much bandit country and way out off the beaten track. A poor fellow in his early 20s was put into Gidleigh, to the little chapel there, to live and look after the local community. It's a nice idea, but the trouble is Dartmoor currently has roughly 6 times the rainfall of Exeter, which is the wettest city in England. This poor devil being dumped in the middle of this miserable, wet, grotty climate, fresh out of, no doubt, Oxford, where he would have had a reasonable education and learned all about decent beers, being dumped down in Dartmoor must have been pretty much like hell for the poor fellow. So he tried to interest himself, as a young 20-year-old would do, with various local activities, and unfortunately the first activity that he discovered was the local miller's daughter, who soon after meeting this chaplain started growing around the belly, rather alarmingly. Now there's one thing that's fairly clear. It is that if you're a young lad, one person in the community you don't want to upset is the miller, because he's used to hefting very large 100-weight sacks of flour and grain around. Not the sort of bloke you want to upset. So this chap did a runner. Actually, he ran and fled because he had an argument with the woman. We don't really know what the argument was about. It could just be that it was sheer frustration and fury that led him to do it, but he punched her in the stomach, and that caused a miscarriage. Now nowadays, of course, that would be considered as a fairly serious case of assault, but in medieval times they were much more straightforward. By killing the baby, the chaplain had killed a human being, therefore he was guilty of murder. So he fled, and it was only some days later that they found the poor fellow in Haldon Hill, in the woods just outside Exeter, presumably trying to go to the bishop's court to seek mercy, or to flee the country. We don't know which. Unfortunately, that is the limit of our knowledge. The court records for the case have all got lost, but it's still a brilliantly interesting start to a story, and so that is where I started with this. This actually was a book I was very proud of, because authors always get contracts which state, we want you to write a book of 90,000 words, 100,000 words, 110,000 words. Well, for me, this was the first time I managed to achieve the contract. I finished this book at 90,000 words. It was the very first book, number 14, where I'd managed to achieve that. And I sat down and went through some revisions and did some editing, and then I realised there was one little red herring I hadn't quite tied up. Tying up that red herring led to 3 more murders, a major siege of a castle, and several deaths, plus another 40,000 words. It ended up as 130,000, the biggest book, as you can tell, that I'd written to that date. Hey-ho, such are the thrills of being an author. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the book. It's a brilliant story, I think. I really enjoy it even now, rereading it. So hopefully you'll get some pleasure out of it as well. Don't forget, if you liked this, do please subscribe to the videos, put any comments in that you've got. If there's anything you want me to talk about, do please let me know. Give it a thumbs up, do all the other good things and share it amongst your friends, and then hopefully there will be plenty more videos to watch later. Thanks very much for watching, and see you soon. Bye. In your own time.